friends, you are here with Mrs. Sheetal Deshpande from Sant Tukaram National Model School, Latur. I welcome you in today's session. Today we will continue with the next part of the representing the earth, similar with the latitudes and longitudes. In today's period, we are going to see about the relationship between latitudes and sunlight. The relationship between latitudes and sunlight. As you know, students, Earth is tilted its axis to the north. The interesting fact is that all latitudes do not get the same amount of sunlight. The latitudes between which the sun appears directly overhead are Tropic of Cancer, 23.5 degree north in the north, and Tropic of Capricorn, 23.5 degrees south in the south. Next, we will continue with the tropics. About the tropics, it receives more sunlight than the polar circle. The tropic is the region of the earth surrounding the equator. They are named Tropic of Cancer in the northern hemisphere and Tropic of Capricorn in the southern hemisphere. These tropics are in the middle of the globe. Tropics include North America, South America, Africa, Asia, Australia, whereas the sun rays are directly fall overhead. About the polar circle, let's move. The most important fact is that it receives very less amount of sunlight. A polar circle is a geographical term for a conditional circular line, referring either it is Arctic Circle located to the north or Antarctic Circle which is located to the south. These regions are called polar circles. See which image I shared in the PPT. By that also you can easily understand how the polar circle receives the sunlight. Let's move for how does the equator get more sunlight. Now equator is closer to the sun than the other latitudes. Actually, sunlight power is the same everywhere, but on equator, sun rays fall straight. So the temperature on equator is warmer than the other poles. By seeing the two different images, you can easily understand what way the sun rays fall on earth. See, by first image, you can understand how the earth receives the sun rays in a different amount at a different places. In second image, also the belt and the zone it has given there. Arctic Circle, Tropic of Cancer, Equator, Tropic of Capricorn, Antarctic Circle also. Now let's move with me towards our board, and you can easily understand by the figure which I given on a board. See, here we have the image of Earth planet, and on the contrary we have the sun. It's our Earth. Now here I will draw the line which symbolize the equator. Now if you will see the equator, you can easily identify that the which part Earth receives the more sunlight or straight sunlight. Yes, that is nothing but the equator. See, on equator, Earth receives the straight sunlight up to the Tropic of Cancer in the northern hemisphere and Tropic of Capricorn in the southern hemisphere. But as we will move further from a Tropic of Cancer in the northern hemisphere and down to the Tropic of Capricorn in the southern hemisphere, it receives the slanting rays. When we will think about the polar circles, to the North Pole and to the South Pole, it receives very slanting rays. It receives the very slanting rays. Means This is what nothing but the relationship between the latitudes and sunlight. So in this way, today we have covered the relationship between latitudes and sunlight. Next part of it we will continue in tomorrow's session. Thank you very much. Have a nice day ahead.